Hello, Premium Hunters. It's Andrew here to give you better options. Today, I'm going to teach you one of the most popular and powerful strategies in the option trading playbook, and that's called the Wheel of Fortune strategy, or often just referred to as the wheel. This is a systematic approach to generating consistent income, and it's perfect for traders who love cash flow and don't mind owning stocks. I've been trading options for over 25 years, and I'm currently generating over $5,000 a week, not per month, but per week trading options. I use a variant of the wheel as one of my strategies to generate that income. And each week I release a portfolio performance update video that pulls back the curtain and shows you exactly which trades I'm placing and which ones I'm closing, with exactly how much I'm making or losing on each one. So if you want to follow me on that journey and see how my trades are performing, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell. Now, to give you an idea of what to expect in today's video, I will start by describing the wheel strategy and how it works. Then I'm going to hop onto my iPad so that I can work through a mock trade and illustrate how it works. I think it'll help give you a better understanding, and if you're anything like me, you're a visual learner, and one picture is worth 1,000 words. After I finish illustrating a mock trade, I'll talk more about the benefits of the trade. And finally, I'll get into the risks, because as good as this strategy is, there's no perfect strategy. They all have their pros and cons, and it's important to know what the drawbacks are. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. So the wheel strategy is a rinse and repeat option strategy designed to generate consistent income while giving you the opportunity to own stocks at a discount. It involves two main steps. Step one, you sell a put on a stock you'd like to own at a specific strike price. If the stock stays above that strike price, you keep the premium and repeat the process. Sell another put, collect more premium. So the really cool thing about this trade is that the stock can go up, it can go sideways, and it can even go down a little bit, and you're still going to get to keep that premium. Now, if the stock drops below, you're assigned the stock, and that's when step two begins. After being assigned the stock, you sell call options on it. If the stock stays below the strike price, you keep the premium and repeat. If it goes above, your stock is sold and you're back to step one. It's called the wheel because you keep cycling through these steps. And although it's a relatively simple process, this likely sounds like a bunch of words to those who are new to options. So to help give you a better understanding, let me hop onto my iPad to illustrate the concept for you. Okay, so let's pretend this is a stock chart. As with any standard stock chart, you have the price on the vertical axis and the time on the horizontal axis. As time goes on, the chart tracks the price of the stock, something like this. You get the idea. I'm sure you've seen a stock chart before, so I think you know what I'm referring to there. So let me go ahead and erase this. Now, if we were to plot an options contract on the stock chart, it might look something like this. If you're not familiar with what an option is, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I will have more educational content coming out. But let me give you a brief summary. When you buy or sell an option, you are not buying or selling an asset like you are when you buy a stock or an ETF. An option is nothing more than a contract. That's it. It's just a contract, but it gives the owner the right to buy or sell an asset, and the asset is what we refer to as the underlying. An option gives the owner the right, but not the obligation, to purchase or sell the underlying asset at a predetermined price, which we call the strike price, on or before a predetermined date, which we call an expiration. A call is the right to purchase, and a put is the right to sell the underlying asset. So if I buy a call in Apple with a February 17 expiration and a $250 strike price, I have the right to buy shares of Apple at $250 anytime prior to February 17th. So if you look here, we have the strike price, and you see the strike price is a horizontal line because that is a dollar amount that never changes. And then we also have over here the expiration, and this is a point in time at the end of the line because that's when the option or the contract expires. And this period of time right here is what we would call the duration. So the option contract will last for that duration of time. All right, so that's what an option contract would look like if we plotted it out on a chart. So let's go ahead and go back to a stock chart. And we will illustrate how this trade works. So let's call this stock XYZ for illustration purposes, although it can be any company you want it to be. You're watching the stock as it climbs. Let me switch back. You're watching the stock as it climbs, and then it closes. We'll say it's $50 a share, right? You wished you would have bought at 40, but you don't mind owning at 45, so you sell a put with a strike price of 45. So let's go back to the option contract. We'll copy this to represent us selling a put option right here. So we'll go ahead and annotate this. This is going to be a put. It's a $45 put. And we're going to say that we collected $2 per contract to sell that put. So now that we sold the put, we need to record that transaction. So we'll go ahead and put there. The premium was $200. And one thing I didn't mention when I was explaining how options work is that when you sell an option controls 100 shares of the underlying asset. So you actually have to multiply the credit you receive by 100 to determine the actual cash received. In this case, it's $200, which is why I wrote $200 there. And so it's $200 for that particular put. That's the first one that we sold. So it's a total of $200 for this wheel strategy. And then the cost basis is going to be, oops, my pencil switched on me. My cost basis is going to be $2. It's actually going to be reduced by $2 because I collected $2. And what I mean by that is, since we collected $2 for this option, the effective purchase price of the stock, once we get assigned, is reduced by $2. So we keep track of that. And so that's why we write it here. All right, so let's go back to the stock chart. All right, so now that we sold the put, we want to go back and see how the stock performs. So we're trucking along and the stock's going up and down like stocks do. And then right at expiration, it closes at $55 per share. So we see here that the stock closed well above our strike price of $45. And because it closed above our strike price, we're not going to get assigned. The option contract expires, it completely goes away, and all the money that we collected on that option, we get to keep. So we get to keep the $200 that we received for selling that option. Now that the stock is at $55 and our option is expired, we decide we're going to sell another option. So let me go ahead and duplicate this. And since the stock is at $55, we want to sell the 50 put. We want to be a little closer. Let's get rid of that. We want to be a little closer to the stock so we can continue to receive about the same amount of money. All right, so let's go ahead and annotate it. We're selling a put. We're selling a put for $50. It's a $50 strike price. And we are collecting, this time we're collecting a little bit more. We're collecting $210. All right, so now that we sold that put, let's go ahead and record it. We'll come down to our table and we sold another put. Sold it for $210, which means we multiply that by 100. So we collected $210. That gives us a total so far in this wheel strategy of $410. And then we reduced our cost basis by $4.10. All right, so far so good. Let's go back to the stock action. So now that we're at $55 a share, we'll go ahead and see how the stock performs with our put at 50. So we keep trucking along here. Ooh, and the stock comes down and it dips below. It dipped below our strike price, but then at expiration, it actually just closes just above our strike price of 50 and closes at 51. Now, even though the stock price dipped below our strike price of the put temporarily, at the time of the option expiration, it was above the strike price of the put, which means we won't get assigned and we still get to keep the $210 that we collected. All right, so since we didn't get assigned, we're going to go ahead and sell another put. And this time we're going to sell at 45 because we want to give ourselves a little bit of room between the stock price and the put price. So this is a put of 45 strike price. And this time we only collect $1.80 because we're a little bit further away from the stock price of 51. And the further away you are, the less you're going to collect because it's less risk. So let's go ahead and record that in our profit table. It's a put, and we sold it for $180, so we get $180. That brings us to a total of $590, which means we reduced our cost basis by $590. Okay, so let's go back again to the stock chart. And let's go ahead and see how the stock performs this time. All right, so the stock is moving along here, but this time it closes at $40 a share, which means the optioner has the right to sell or put 100 shares of the stock to me at $45. That's a good deal for him because he can go out on the market and buy the stock for $40, then immediately turn around and sell it to me for $45, making $5 a share or $500 immediately. So you got $5 per share times 100 shares equals $500 is what he can make right off the bat. But remember, we've been collecting premium this whole time, and even though we've got put the shares, we still get to keep all the premium for selling that put that got exercised. So let's go back and record it. So we got assigned. Let's go ahead and change this so we can keep track of it. We got assigned at $45. And we didn't collect anything because we just got assigned. I mean, we collected the $180 when we sold the put, but we don't collect anything when we get assigned. But we've collected 590 so far. So the cost basis for us right now is only $39.10. So even though we got put the stock at $45, because we've collected 590 so far, that brings our cost basis down to $39.10. So we could actually turn right around and sell the stock for a 90-cent profit if we wanted to. But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to take advantage of the fact that we can sell calls against our stock. So let's go back to the stock chart and sell some calls. Since the stock is at $40 a share, we'll sell $45 calls and collect $1.70 to do so. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. Now this is a call, so it's actually going to be above the price. And go ahead and get rid of that. So we're selling a call and we're selling it for $45 and we're collecting $1.70. Let's go back and record it. We're collecting $170. So that brings our total to $760. And our cost basis is $37.40. The reason it's so important to track your cost basis, especially after getting assigned the stock, is to make sure you don't sell the calls that are below our cost basis, because that will cause us to take a loss. It basically locks in a loss for us. For example, in this case, if the stock was to fall all the way down to $30 a share, we wouldn't want to sell a $35 call, because if we get called out and are forced to sell at $35, we take a $2.40 loss since we paid $37.40 for it. But we go back to watching the stock, and it closes at $44 a share at expiration. Let's go ahead and draw that out. It goes up, but that might be a little bit close in reality, but we'll call it $44 a share. It closed below our strike price of $45. So what does that mean? That means we get to keep that premium. And now we get to sell another call. So this time, since we're at $44 on the stock price, we're going to go a little higher on the call, and we'll sell this one at $50. So this is a call. We're selling it for $50, and we'll say that we collect $1.90 for this. So let's go back and record it. Another call, $190. That brings our total to $950 collected on this wheel strategy, and it brings our cost basis down to $35.50. Let's go back to the stock action again. All right, we sold that $50 call. Whoops, let me undo that. Change the color, and we sold that $50 call, and we're looking just fine here. Looks like it's going to expire worthless, but whoa. All right, on the very last day at expiration, the stock just shoots right up to $100 a share. The company announced a brand new cheese slicer that has the latest AI technology integrated, and the market just goes wild. So the good news is that you will still get to keep the premium for the call that you sold. The bad news, well, bad depending on how you look at it, but even though you own the shares at a cost basis of $35.50, You do not get to enjoy the ride on that rocket ship because your call will be exercised, forcing you to sell at $50 a share. The owner of the call option, on the other hand, can take the shares that he bought from you at $50, then turn right around and double his money by selling the current market price of $100 per share. But let's take a look to see how you did overall. So remember, you bought these shares at $45, and then you sold at $50, meaning you made $5 per share times 100 is $500, plus the $950 that you made from selling these options means you have a total profit of $1,450. All right, not too shabby. So anyway, I hope this illustration gives you a better idea of how the wheel strategy works. Let's go ahead and go back and talk about the benefits. All right, so now that we have a better understanding of how the wheel strategy works, let's talk about the benefits. The wheel strategy has several benefits that make it popular among traders. First is income generation. You're collecting premiums at every step, creating a steady cash flow. Second, buying stocks at discounts. By selling puts, you're essentially getting paid to potentially buy stocks you already want at a lower price. And then simplicity. The strategy follows a straightforward process that's easy to repeat. While the wheel is a great strategy, it's not without risks, and I'll cover those here. First, stock declines. If the stock drops significantly below your put cost basis, you'll own the stock for a loss. Now, you still might be able to work your way out by selling calls, but the further the stock drops, the harder that is to do. And this is why we only do this strategy on stocks we're willing to own regardless. Next, opportunity cost. If the stock rockets higher after selling a covered call, you might miss out on additional gains since you're obligated to sell at the strike price. Just like when our company shot up to $100 per share on expiration when they announced their brand new AI-enabled cheese slicer. And then third is capital requirements. You need enough cash to secure the puts and hold the stock if assigned. Remember, one option contract is equal to 100 shares. So if you sell a put with a $50 strike price, you'll have to have $5,000 available to cover the purchase of the stock. So that's why it's crucial to pick quality stocks or ETFs and set strike prices you're comfortable with. All right, so that's a quick overview of the Wheel of Fortune. I would love to get your feedback. What do you think of the strategy and how I described it? Were you able to follow along and did it make sense to you? Comment below. And as I mentioned, I use a slightly more advanced version of this strategy that helps ensure that you can continue to generate income even if the stock tanks, and I will cover that in a later video. I also talk about it during my weekly portfolio performance update videos, so be sure to check those out as well. Thank you for stopping by and watching, and I hope you were able to get something out of it. I'm just getting started on this channel, and there is a lot more coming, so if you like what you see so far, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you will be notified when I upload more content. Take care for now, and I look forward to bringing you more better options in the future. Bye-bye.